Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing A Little Book of Gargoyles by Mike Harding. So this is a fun little book I picked up in the art section of my library and I was really interested in reading a little bit more about it, so I decided to check it out and give it a read. The first thing I want to touch on is this book does not differentiate between gargoyles and grotesques. My understanding is that gargoyles are specifically those roof decorations that are used to project water away from the stone building to not destroy the masonry or any of the other work on the building, while grotesques are just kind of decorations that are on the building and don't have that water removal function. This book is just called A Little Book of Gargoyles, and while it doesn't necessarily call everything in here a gargoyle, not everything in this book is a gargoyle. So that's something that you should keep in mind when reading this book. Now this book is not very in-depth. You probably judge that by the length of this book. It is just one-page samplers of gargoyles and grotesques throughout primarily Great Britain and Continental Europe, but there's also some inclusion of stuff from India, which I thought was really cool. So it is kind of more of a sampler. This one, Saint and the Nuns, here we go. It just has some pictures and then a one-page summary of what you're seeing as well as the location. So it's very, very high level, very, not very detailed or in-depth, but I feel like that's fine for just someone who's looking for an overview. This kind of reminds me of the little books that my high school teacher would have in her classroom, just something to kind of browse between, I guess, when you were finished with assignments or whatever. And I think that's kind of the role it plays. It's not meant to be all-encompassing, it's just kind of meant to be a collection of stuff the author finds interesting. Another thing to note is that this book, the author does have his own opinions on the meaning or the historical significance or the, I don't know if provenance is the right word, of the gargoyles and grotesques and what inspired what. I'm not sure how much of this is fact as accepted by art historians or historians, but he does have his opinions, so just keep that in mind when reading this. See if those opinions align with yours. I don't know, just give them a read, see what you think. That's really all I can ask, but I do think this is a fun little introduction. It was a fun little read. I had a great time paging through it. It's pretty short. It's really good for anyone who's interested. It is a little bit older, but I don't think that necessarily detracts from the pictures. I feel like the pictures are really interesting. Yeah, this is from 1998. But Mark Harding did a good little collection of things, and I have to give it a 3-star. It was really, really enjoyable. If you're looking at this book and thinking, this could be interesting, I also want you to know that according to the back of this book, I believe it's the back of this book, we're gonna find out in a second. Nope, it's the front. Maybe not. There's other books in this series, is basically where I'm trying to take this. There was a, here we go. The other books in the series, A Little Book of the Green Man, A Little Book of, is it misericords? Is that how you say it? A Little Book of Stained Glass. So there are a lot of other little books in this series. I'm sure there's a lot more of these A Little Books of. So if any of these catch your eye, or if this one catches your eye and you like the style, there's a lot of other books in this kind of series that might interest you. I wanted to compare this book, A Little Book of Gargoyles by Mark Harding, to another book that I read that will get its own separate review, and that is Gargoyles and Grotesques by Alex Woodcock. Now this book is a lot more, I would say, like art history focused. It's a lot more technical. So if you're looking for a more technical introduction, this is still pretty small and not too in-depth, but this will give you a more technical introduction. Or if you want to know more about the various theories behind some of these creatures, this would be a good starting place. But if you're just looking for a fun introduction, you don't think this is going to be a serious line of inquiry for you, you just want to look at some cool things on buildings from the Middle Ages, then maybe give this one a read, because I feel like this is a lot less technical and is just a fun introduction without being too serious. So there you have it, 3 stars, A Little Book of Gargoyles. I did enjoy this. I do recommend. If you want to have a more serious approach though, I would probably recommend this other book. Check out my review for this one. But yeah, I do recommend. I think this is a very interesting book. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I would love to hear it. Other than that, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.